Hello, hello. We're doing some burner designing today. We're done with the outposts. I mean, for the most part, we still have to refine them a little bit, but we got a couple options for how to do the trains. I don't think I want to work on the trains today. They're not fully done, but I do have a couple ways I can work on those. I want to do some batteries and bot stuff today. So once we get this set up, that's pretty much all we need to. This is pretty much the end of what we need to hand build within the base. So everything else, it'll probably have a fairly similar design because this design is easy to hand build and also works pretty good for bots. But we can do some things to try to save some belts here and there. It's basically going to be the only difference. So we'll have like more underground stuff like that. But this like belt grid, no self-feeding, those things are good for bots unless we want to have a bunch of self-feeding inserters. There's no sound. All right. I always forget about that. Let's see. Is this connected? No, it is not. Oh, that's why there's no sound. Give me 1 second. Okay, more than 1 second. Where the heck is Okay. Where was I? Right. So self-feeding inserters and bots are not a good combo unless you want to use belt logic or inserter logic. And I think with the amount of inserters we still need to place at this point, inserter logic is going to be pretty bad for UPS. I think worse. Yeah, worse than having two inserters. Just from some basic. I think it depends how we set up the logic. There might be. Actually, no, I think it's pretty much always going to be worse. Basically, just logic is bad for really slow moving things unless you have no other choice. Because you're really adding a ton of overhead to make for something that only moves like zero point 0.6 items per second. It's quite rough. So we need to get that taken care of. There we go. Okay, now there's sound or music. Victoria soundtrack, let's go. I also have no sound. You guys have sound now, but I don't have sound. There we go. Wait. Yeah, okay. I said that, and then it was like dead silent for me as well. But yeah, we have to work on this section of the base. Basically, we got up to whatever these are. What are these? Elect Electric engine. Oh wait, we did get up to bots. Oh, wait, is there anything we're missing for these? Oh, well, okay. What do we design then? Do we work on, huh. I mean, we obviously still have a lot of the base. That's what I was planning to work on. Apparently, I already did that like 2 weeks ago, probably before doing the train stuff. I guess we can figure out how to connect the trains to base. I haven't fully decided which train I want to use. That does change how the unloading station looks a little bit. I don't think it's a drastic difference, but it definitely is a difference. Unless I don't know if I can justify two unloading stations. Well, yeah, two unloading stations would be tricky. I believe this is the train we decided on. Yeah, this is the train we decided on. And 11 long? It's a weird length. It's double and then 10. So 12. A 12 long train, but it's 2 to 10 instead of what would that normally be? 4 to What would a 12 long train? I guess 12 is not a standard length, is it? But movement speed, I don't think is a huge concern here. So I figured 2 to 10 would be fine. We can make it 3 to 10 without significant increases to size. It would basically look like this instead. The advantage is this size can fit within a Roboport if I make it wider. Oh, wait. Wait, we can't, this was just testing purposes. This isn't actually how it can look. It's gonna have to look more like a circle on the end, I think. Is there an easy way to do that? I have no idea. Definitely not like that. Does this look like a circle? Um, There you go. It gets the point across. What we really need is something which has the straight line on the left over here, because that's where the unloading will be, and then a waiting station can be on the curved, no problem. But the way we have it now, it's obviously problematic because we can only load onto 4 of them. But we have the 2 different ways we can make a loading station. This one is nice because I think longer trains will be better considering it's a single track. Otherwise, we would need like 6 half trains, and I think 6 half trains on a single track would be very tough for throughput because they don't move twice as fast. Or any faster. I don't think they move any faster. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say they have the exact same movement speed, which means our limiting factor is really just going to be how many trains we have. So fewer trains is better because we would need, I think we would need 12 short trains with this design, which is not great. And then we have 2 separate ways we can do the mining outposts. So we have this one, which uses a fuel delivery train. It does have the downside of this takes about 10 to 15 minutes to start. We could probably speed it up a little bit, but realistically, it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes to start the whole base. Then there's this design. Wait, that's not the other design. Where's the other design? Where's the cool direct fed design that we did? Oh, yeah. Then there's this direct fed design, and there is a better way to do it that's tileable. This way uses a couple extra belts, but what you can actually do is stagger it between... wait, does this work? There's a way to stagger it. I don't remember exactly how it looks. I think it's something like this. I'm just gonna pull that up. I should still have the blueprint somewhere. I just don't have it in here. Okay. Let's find the blueprint. Copy. Okay, so it's copied. Okay. There we go. This is the tileable version. The only real difference here is this saves a little bit of belts. It's not a significant difference, but it does save like 1 belt per train wagon or something like that. It's, might as well make it tileable. And it looks kind of cool. This one is a lot more consistent, but if it works, it works. And then we would probably end it with something like this. Yeah, I think that's how we would end it. And actually, no. We don't care about the belt savings. I would just do this. I would rather save 2 entities at this point, I think. But yeah, this is the tileable version. This starts significantly faster because this has a ratio of 1 to 2 cargo wagons per 48 drills. Whereas this has 1 to 2 cargo wagons per like 360 drills, I think is how many drills we need. But because there's fuel on each one of these, this can just start a lot faster. Downside is this needs... I think this needs I want to say this would need 10 trains. We would want one always filling, 1 in waiting for both of the outposts. So that would be 5, 1... So that's 5, 5, and then probably 2 at the loading station. So we're looking at least 12 or 13 trains probably. Whereas this one can use 5 for comparable throughput, and that's just because these are direct feeding. They take like 10 to 15 full minutes to fill, so you just need like 15 trains. This does also require a second outpost to connect, because it is less dense. This design does let you get enough on a single patch. Not a patch like this, but like a patch like this, we can actually get enough drills on. This is a fake patch, technically. I did just fill in the gaps, but that was just so I can make the blueprint. But this does work. Not most patch sizes, but there's enough patch sizes to get 360 drills on a single one, and that's all I need. And then let's see what else. This one does have the advantage that once I get mining productivity, what is it? We'll have 2 by this point. We'll be close to 3. Yeah, what does 3 cost again? 3 is 1,000 yellow science. We won't have this when this goes up, but we'll be close to it. This is the advantage that this will get another, will go from 1.2 to 1.6, whereas this has to be built around having only 3 upgrades. This can be built around possibly getting more production later. I don't know if that matters, but we could possibly get an extra, basically 2 red belts, I think. This is 4 red belts of resources when we have all of them. With the amount of inserters I would have, or yeah, with that amount of drills I would have. Because I would have 5, 5. Yeah, we're looking at 320 to 360 furnaces here. Or 360 drills here. They would go from basically 400 drills to about 500 drills for free, which could be useful. That does give me the option of adding an expansion later, but I also don't know if that really matters, because I don't know what the expansion would do, because I feel like we're going to be limited by other things, and I don't know if I really want to have a larger starter base just to make use of that, because I don't know if I could really utilize, 2 extra red belts of resources randomly halfway through the run. But that does give a point to this version. Also, this one is really cool, but so is this one. They're both really cool designs. But as for an unloading station, let's see, this would be the building train connection. So this would be going pretty much along our entire base. That is literally just going to deliver stuff to build the outpost. And then we do need 2 unloading stations. And they will be going into... What the heck is this? That's not my design. Oh, I think I just copied a random furnace lane. Oh. Yeah, I was just seeing how much space they used. Yeah, okay. I mean, that might work. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. I was gonna say that might work. We don't have inserters. This obviously doesn't work. I can't utilize any designs like that. But this concept of side loading it halfway through, that's actually pretty nice. It doesn't use any red belt. How does this work? Does it use red belt? I feel like I'm missing something. I don't quite understand what's happening with this design. But yeah, I just copied some random smelting lanes to see how things worked. Okay, there's obviously, let's see, I don't know what this is. Oh, that's an alarm telling you it's not connected. Okay. What is that? Ooh. I don't know what that means. But that sounds cool. Okay, so we have, how does this connect? Okay, 4 belts obviously get split into 2. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, that's why it didn't make sense, because I had deleted a lot of stuff in the original design. So this gets side-loaded here, and what the heck is happening here? Ah, okay. So between every section... Oh, wait, does that mean this is a... This is a steel lane. That's why it doesn't look right. Let's delete the steel lane. It's confusing me. Our steel lane has to look a lot different, so that's not really a good thing to examine. So this how does this get split up? Obviously the start, which just has 1 belt, gets split into 2. That's very vanilla. And then halfway through, this side loads the coal, I imagine? Yeah, okay, this sends the coal through. And then we side load more iron on top of it. Okay, so that's how you get the iron to back up. So this has an advantage over this. Probably, I think it's better in terms of UPS, but it's also just better in terms of having the inserters work all the time. Because if you do something like this, you need some kind of weird inserter to make it work. Because this actually won't run... If it can't back up, it won't run as good. I don't know exactly why. I think it's because when these pick up fuel, some resources pass through, and if resources pass through, that means this doesn't use the whole belt, which just means some gets wasted. So that's why they're split up here. So we can definitely do something like that. Obviously, it won't be nearly as compact because we are using burner inserters, but you know, it's worth a shot. Yeah, we can definitely use inserters. I haven't figured out how we're going to upgrade our original lane. Again, that is not my base. We'll definitely need to figure that out. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to get these. Well, okay, I don't think it's gonna be hard to get those resources there. And this was a, wait, one of these was a design someone else proposed. Oh, this one. This was way less dense and used way more inserters. It was a cool idea, but we will not be using that one. The advantage of this was it doesn't use the undergrounds. It just gets all, or it doesn't use as many undergrounds. And it sends the resources vertically, which I think was a cool idea, but it only really was beneficial if you build one set of it. But the build speed was a bit too low at a point where build speed was pretty significant because it was about 30% slower to build. And it was not more compact and it wasn't cheaper. So we'll be using this one. We can delete those. Those were just for density purposes. I do remember those. Okay, we'll worry about making it compact later. How does a normal smelting lane look? So this is a normal smelting lane for me. We need to upgrade only the furnaces here, so that way we can, we don't want to accidentally add some red belt because red belt is actually really bad. I think it might be a good idea to add a separate fuel belt, but I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like this probably can't supply enough fuel. Haven't really decided yet how I'm going to do that. Maybe we can figure that out today, because I'm thinking we have fuel just delivered via, what is it? Solid fuel. Locally produced solid fuel could be cool. That would be very easy and consistent. Downside, it's not balanced very well. So you do end up idling a lot of chem plants later, but consistency is nice, and also just having it nicely on the edge is good because it leaves this space for other things. Because the other idea was to have, it would be pretty large, like 10 belts of fuel on this side basically, which is a lot. So it's either like 10 belts of fuel down here, or we produce the fuel locally as we go. Hello Guapa, welcome, welcome. We're working on our train design right now, which is actually trickier than I thought it would be. I'm realizing sideloading the fuel is going to be difficult. Yeah, I think 16 hours definitely will be doable with blueprints. 12 hours will be tricky because we're really pushing the limits of my CPU once we get down to like 12 and 10 hours. Technically, I think with a lot of practice it could be done, but I'm also like, I can only have estimates right now of how my computer will handle it. Like, I'm thinking it will be okay based on like the previous no blueprint one, which I did like over, a duration without blueprints. I'm estimating I'll get a base 30% bigger than that as like my peak production. That's about all I have in terms of like UPS comparison. Also, we need this space here, I'm realizing. Would it be better to just delete and copy this? I think it would. Yeah, because this is this tessellates. But yeah, I really like burner designs. They're obviously not good, and they aren't helpful like anywhere else. They're not even helpful in mods that use burners, because mods that use burners tend to just have burner leech. So like, these really are never going to be useful again. But I don't know. I've always had a fascination with burner stuff. So I keep doing like various versions of that because I think they're pretty neat. Even if I would not recommend anybody use them ever, I think they're neat. Okay, so this is good for the bot base. The reason this goes all the way here, even though it uses more resources, is because of Smart Belt. Smart Belt places very nicely like this. It does not place nicely like this. And you can't just use pure undergrounds because it's like a 4-1-4 pattern, which is not fast to build. If it was just like 3-3, that would work. But yeah, we do what we can. But this will be built by bots, which means we can send this through. And then I think we should do some weird... Well, actually, does this save... Can we save inserters? Not inserters. Can we save belt here? No. How How cheap is red belt? I don't think red belt is worth it. We could use red belt to save like 5 or 10 actions. I think at this point, because this will be the first thing bots build, red belt's probably too expensive because they won't really have built the red belt yet. I don't really like how that's only 3. But we don't need to go very far, so it's really not as troublesome as it sounds. Ooh, wait. Oh, that's problematic. The way that we need to sideload this, we need to sideload it here. Can we make it here? Because we need to sideload it at the 12th furnace. That doesn't work. Do we have enough space for this? We might need to add a tile gap. I think we just need to add a tile gap. But that's problematic because we can't add a tile gap due to the way that we have our belt grid. We can add a 4 tile gap. I guess that's not that bad. Let's look at the example that we're basing it off of, at least for how they're sideloading things. Okay, they leave a gap. If they can leave a gap in 100%, I think our meme version of it can leave a gap as well. Considering we have to aim for like 3 times the time that they're going for, a 2 wide gap is not going to break the run. So how do we do that? Let's see, we would have to shift, let's see, where is it? This is 24. So we would cut this. Wait. That wasn't right. We would cut this one. There we go. Okay, that looks a little, well, I mean, it doesn't look better. It looks so much worse. But now we can put this here. So this is actually a little bit tricky because we won't have a coal belt here. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work. We could use a splitter. I think this would be fine. Oh, wait, this is going to brown out. This is pretty much guaranteed brown out. Also, there's not fuel on that belt. But we could do, and I think would be worth it, is this. There we go. Now, if we really wanted to save entities, we could do this. Hello, Zasper. Thanks for the luck. We are currently designing... How long did my first one take? It was like 26 hours, but that was without blueprints, so a lot of it was... Well, a lot of it was making a poorly UP optimized design, adding like 6 hours. Goal time for this is about 16, but we'll be using blueprints. Any farther than... I think 12 is possible, but it depends if I practice the early game a ton. Not even a ton, just a little bit. Like if I do some practice for like the first 6 hours, I think that would be good. Just do a couple like cold runs. But yeah, I think 12 hours is definitely possible. A lot lower than that would be difficult because I run into computer problems at that point. But it's definitely possible. Do you have an on-patch early base? On-patch is really bad with burner inserters. So it really depends if I want to hand feed. Like we will do some kind of on-patch. Obviously the easiest option will just be to hand feed everything for like 30 minutes, but I don't know if I'll be up to that. Because they're really bad. And when you have to get... And you would have to hand feed the inserters, so you... Yeah, there's not a great option. We haven't really fully designed it. I think it will look something like this. Half stacks last ages, right? Yeah, like 30 seconds. Unless you mean half stacks of coal. Yeah, the inserter feeding is the tough part. Because the inserters have a really tiny hits box, and... 1 coal doesn't really last long enough for it to be justifiable, so you have to do half stacks. Factorio, I think if Factorio had like a feed 5 option, it would be pretty viable, but 25 to 50 per inserter is a lot. And I don't want to try to feed like a ton of single inserters. So I'm just going to take the small hit and probably do something like this instead. So that way, because I think I can feed assemblers or I can feed inserters. I don't really want to feed both. But I'm not really sure. You replace those? Someone suggested that a lot, and I could never justify it because it just was. It's such a minor. It's like a second, right? With the extra coal you have to get, I feel like it saves like 1 or 2 seconds. But that's not even necessarily actual time saved. And I was like, you know what, this isn't worth it. It's 5 circuits for free, not bad. It's 5 circuits at the cost of like 100+ coal over the course of the run as well, though. Which matters in the early game, which is why I was like, you know what, I already had trouble with coal. I wasn't gonna make it worse. So it just ended up not being something that was worth considering. But yeah, this is probably what we'll do. Something like this, because I can't really hand feed much, that limits our options. But basically the goal is to just get just enough for like an entire patch. We really can't do like a large on-patch base because of how much space that takes up. Like inserters already take up like 3 times the space. We can't if we would be waste because I don't think I saved it because it was so bad, but I was looking into doing an on patch, and it basically used up like the entire iron starting patch to get anything worthwhile. And it's like, yep, okay, we're not gonna do this. And it was also like I needed to get so many belts to get it started. But we do use trains. Uh, I mean, similar in the similar way that the normal 100% does. Using it for the bot part of the base. To get like the last 12-ish belts of resources. So we have a couple train designs, but it's looking like we need a 10-long train to do things, which is a lot, but yeah, it's better than bringing back 20 red belts of resources by hand with a controller, so I'll take it. Now I just need to figure out how to do a double lane with yellow belts with burner inserters, which I don't think is too bad, except for the fact that, you know, they're bad. But we have a very awkward amount of space to work with. I think it might be easier if we can move this here. Maybe we, oh. Wait, why aren't we using this tile before? Oh, we don't have access to that tile because this is max length. If we want to scale this, we don't have that tile. Will there be trains? Yes. Not a ton. We'll be doing at least one for each resource probably. So I think it'll be like 15 total trains plus a building train. Well, possibly 2 building trains. I'm not really sure. But we'll need a train for building the outpost, and we'll need a train for building the other outpost. Train loading and unloading. So this is the train unloading. I think it's actually pretty cool. This one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. Where's the... Okay. This is the functional one. So yeah, this is how the train unloading and loading works. They're all self-feeding. So slow, though. We can do an entire 3 half red belts with a full train. So, but yeah, it's faster than the other alternative of connecting all of this by hand. But yeah, it just uses a lot of inserters. But because we have bots, it's not that bad. This was just testing the concept. The actual train is going to be twice that length, so we can get about 4 red belts. A little over 4 red belts, I think, so that way it stays full. But yeah, this is the idea. These are all connected to a belt right here that activates them only if fuel is backed up. This right here is basically just a chest is literally just acting as a chest. So that way we don't have to have like an inserter buffer here. It's more expensive than a chest, but I think it's fun. And honestly, not having like burners burning our sparse fuel anyway sounded nice. Because just this buffer doesn't work. Yeah, more expensive than a chest. It was more about consistency. It also doesn't need to be red belt. Like with the chest, I can't really limit it to as little as I need. Because I need 4 chests. Or I would need like 8 chests. That's the problem. I would need like 8 chests to do it. Which is a lot. And that means the minimum fuel I could put in it is 400, and I want it to only store 200. So I'm like, yeah, screw it. We'll just do belts. Because it really just needs to store enough so that way these can do a full batch always. But fuel gets delivered, iron comes back, and then the unloading station, the way that we have it set up, solid fuel is the lowest priority. So we unload all the iron, then once that's done, the solid fuel gets taken out and it recycles. Again, kind of a little like belt, a little chest system, but yeah, inserters are just such low throughput. It just doesn't work that great to have actual chests because you have to use so many and so much more space. Burner inserters are terrible, don't use them. But yeah, they'll clear those first before it gets recycled and it repeats. So I'm very happy with how that works. Fairly consistent. Technically, this doesn't fill with 12 inserters. It tends to fill with between 10 to 12, depending on fuel timings, unless I, change the stack size, and then it doesn't really work. But yeah, I'll probably have the size, because I think it only needs to store 200. But yeah, that's how the unload station works. There is also this design, which I thought was pretty cool, to direct feed into the trains. But the downside is this is like 3 or 4. This is like 3 or 4 times. No, it's not 3 or 4. Sorry, 30 or 40% less dense, which means I would actually need 2 patches to make this work. This design, I can fit enough inserters on a single patch, which makes it a lot better. How late does max inserter stack size come? How much does it cost? I don't think it's that much later. 600. It should be like 30 minutes after these outposts get started. Something like that. Because we won't have it yet, but that'll be like the first research that we get. This and mining productivity are the first resources that we get with purple science, I think. Or purple and yellow science. Because it's more important than a launch, which is funny. So they'll have 1.2 at this point, so it's still decent. Let's see, what is that? I think this is designed around... I think this is built around having 1.2. So I think it's fine. 1.2 times 11. It's pretty close to a full belt. It's like... It's between 90 to 99% of a belt. It depends, obviously, on if one of these gets stuck or not. But yeah, it ranges from like 90 to a full belt, which is decent. We can make do with that. And obviously no buffer chests, because to do buffer chests means you have the amount of inserters you can have, and you double the amount of inserters you need, which is not ideal. But mostly it's just the throughput is really bad if you use buffer chests. And I would have had to do like 20 long trains or like 2 or 3 loading stations at every single outpost, and I didn't want to do that. And this is a much more interesting looking design anyway, so it works out. But yeah, right now we just need to set up this, which is a little bit harder than I thought it would be, admittedly. What if... How do I do fuel for these? Oh, wait. No, this might work. Because with inserters, you have fuel generally on the other side anyway, compared to like normal. Well, okay, it depends. I haven't decided. You can make it work. Like this. Yeah, no. No, I think this will work. Because I was looking here, and if I could sideload this, not sideload this, if I could rotate it, I think we're golden. There we go. This only works if coal can go on the other side, which I think is definitely viable. Because I think we want coal on the other side anyway. And also this is built with belts, so it doesn't, I mean, we can make it work. Or sorry, this is built by bots. We can make it work. It doesn't have to be fast to build. So we actually want coal on the other side. I haven't decided yet if I want to do chem plants. I feel like local chem plants would be a good idea. How long does that take to start though? The problem with local chem plants is you have to start an entire lane at once, which is, how much do they buffer? 5 fuel, 5 to 7 fuel plus all the inserters. That's like 8 fuel. Let's say 9. 9 times 48. We need 400 fuel. We would be producing 1 every second. That's not that much. I don't think that's a ton. We can live with that. So we could live with 2 chem plants here. I was thinking we would have solid fuel or petroleum. Actually, it would probably be petroleum. Just going all the way over here, and then we could just output directly on the belt. But since we need coal to go on the other side, that does slightly change our design, but it's still something that can work. The only downside is this does idle a lot of chem plants later, when the alternative is significantly more belts. Actually, is this cheaper? This is probably cheaper than having like 4 belts, right? Can't really see the cost of the chem plant. I think this is cheaper. Yeah. Okay, so that's not a bad idea. I think these would end up cheaper than having like a 4 or 5 long row of belts here. That's all under belts that goes all the way here to get the density we need. Because if I'm using belts, I would want to have really, really excessive throughput so it starts faster. Otherwise, I'll probably just do this. Does that work? No, it doesn't. I feel like we can make it work. The fact that I have to get... that idea looked really great until I realized I needed to place coal on the other side. And now this idea just seems a lot less useful. Because like going directly there, that's perfect. Like that's very solid. It's not super fast, but it will be fast enough. Because this has about 10 minutes to back up before a train gets here. So, I mean, it's totally fine if it takes a little bit to back up. But since I need coal on the other side, I don't know, maybe I can make it work. Well, no, that doesn't work. Can I use an inserter? I mean, I could... I mean, I could just sideload it like this. Like, I could do an inserter with a belt prio. They don't work as great, though. Especially with burner inserters. This doesn't work as well with an input priority as if they were dedicated belts. And this just fits... oh, wait. Oh, wait, this doesn't fit. Never mind, this is the space I have to work with. Huh. I could do this. This is an option. This is very dense. I do have to sideload the iron ahead of time, but this does work. It's... wait, no, it doesn't. But, you know, if I move it slightly over, it works. It's supposed to be here instead. Yeah, I mean, conceptually this works. Is it good, though? I think it's fine. This requires us to sideload the iron early, but that's something we can live with. Yeah, okay. So we have iron on one side. If we're doing it this way, maybe we can do this. This is also another option. Oh, wait. That looks really cool. I'm gonna keep both of those options, though. Let's see. So we have this one, and then we have... this needs to go in side. Output solid fuels for the left side and side load burners with belt. Oh, for over here, yeah. If we need fuel to be on that side, that's what we would do. Yeah, that's the easy part, so I figured we can just leave that until we figure out how we want this side load to look. And then what was the design I had? It looked something like... Wait, it looked like this, right? Yeah, this. You guess you don't need power poles in this? Yeah, we don't need a ton. Although it also means that if you ever need to place a handcrafting assembler, you're probably not going to have power nearby. So like placing emergency power things is kind of rough because you don't bring power with you like you normally would. Like you build an entire lane and you realize you don't have power poles. But yeah, we use a grand total of 24 power poles for like an entire setup here, which admittedly is not that many less than you would normally use. It's probably like, actually it's probably like half. I carry a full power plant in your pocket ready for deployment at all times. True, just a pocket power plant and barrels of water. Ooh, smart. Or just a solar panel. I mean, technically I can use solar panels, but I'm limiting them to just the achievement because it seems wrong. Also, they're terrible, which is also bad. Okay, so is there a consistency difference here? I don't actually know if there's a consistency difference here. I guess we could test it. Yeah, actually, this is like one of the easier things to test. So this side load stuff here. So this puts coal on the inside and then iron on the outside. And we are just going to use something like this. And this. Okay, so that's basically how it would work. Whereas this one has iron on this side. Okay, and then I could just give it a chemical plant, but honestly, I'm just going to give it. Or I could just give it an infinity chest of coal, but I'm just going to do this. Realistically, we're going to be using petroleum. Although it depends. We might be using liquid. We might be using light oil. I haven't really decided. Because I think trying to manage like 3 sources of solid fuel would be pretty tricky. If I'm sending it via belt. And then obviously we need power. Okay, creative. Does this work? I think this works. Yeah, start time is going to be horrendous. Ideally, this is supposed to be built and backing up like I said, 5 or 10 minutes before resources arrive, so it's fine if the start time is bad. Are these set up correctly? No, this one is supposed to be side-loaded ahead of time. Which side does it get side-loaded on? Top. Why doesn't this work? Oh, I'm in map view. Right, I'm in the map view in the editor mode, because for some reason that makes a difference. Okay, and then of course we need... this start time is so slow. We need something to eat all of the iron. Okay, and I think both of these work in terms of getting fuel to these chests. They just have to be designed a little bit differently because they come from other sides. Or sorry, not chests, to the inserters on the end to make the last one work. Okay. Start time, very horrendous. We're going to speed it up. It might make me a robot for a little bit. Wow, that's a really bad start time, though. Oh, we should probably cut a lot of our base. We just keep pacing things and testing them at full speed, and we've just been slowly losing UPS because we have way more of a base than we should at this point. Which isn't a problem. It just means if we, try to test something, we can only test it at like 6 times speed. 5-6 times speed. Okay, yeah, this looks a lot better now that it's actually working. Oh, and the output needs to be... We'll need to figure out how to do the output. I think what we're going to have to do is output onto a red belt. How did they do it? I don't think I can really use... I can't really use a lot of the 100% designs, to be honest. They're not that useful. I do have the base. Yeah, they obviously they split the output, but I think this is genuinely not possible because we have the double inserters. So if we were to split the output like this, that would require us to make the build significantly larger, like 30% larger, which is a little bit more than I want to do here. Because let's see, this has to go here. Yeah, we don't have we don't have space here, so we have to use a red belt. But that's fine. We still saved a lot of red belts. So we only need a grand total of 30 red belt and a splitter, something like that. We can live with that. We can afford that at this point in the run, considering we're going to be sending so many red. Well, are these red belts? Yeah, considering how many red belts we'll need at this base, we'll have the production to afford 40 at the smelting lanes. Okay, so these are not working. Did I do that wrong? There we go. I forgot to remove the infinity filter. Okay, just delete some stuff. Da, da, da. Okay. Now everything looks good. I built that in the right spot, right? Oh, wow. Oh, this is backed up from side loading things. That's fine. Okay, can we make this work? Or is there a difference between the two halves? I think they should be the same because they both have dedicated belts. So this one is cheaper. I think in terms of connecting stuff, this one's easier. Because this has two side loads. This one has a side load in the middle. Actually, no, they're probably exactly the same. This one looks way cleaner, though. I know that's not really... that doesn't really matter, but it looks way cleaner, and I like that. This one's funny, though. I don't know why. Something about this is really funny. I love how the fuel switches sides with both of the designs, though. Like, regardless, we're going to switch fuel. Or switch sides of it. Wait, did we have more space to work with than I thought? Was I designing it without that there? No, I moved it back down on accident. Okay. I was like, I definitely did not design it with that tile in mind. Yeah, okay. I was worried we had one more tile to work with there, which would have made our original design work, but yeah, we don't have that tile because this can't go here. It needs to go here due to max belt length. Okay, so they are identical. Lower will be problem with 2 to 3 lines because of underground's connecting logic and rotation. How so? This is built by bots. Which part of that will be problematic? Do you think that when it's blueprinted, it will break things? I think as long as it's a blueprint, it won't try to flip things. It would be awful to build by hand. I will say that. Building it by hand would be awful. But I don't think... I think if it's a blueprint, it can work out fine, right? Oh, wait. Okay, I see what you mean. I don't know how I would make a blue... Can you make a blueprint of it? Yeah, well, I know what you mean. I just thought a blueprint would override that, but it probably doesn't. I've never tried, admittedly. They always link. Okay. So this would only work if it goes the other way. I mean, we could stagger it. If that's a problem, we can stagger it, and it won't be an issue. Because we have an extra tile to work with. So we can always do... We can just stagger them, right? Yeah, we can just stagger them. There's space to work with it. So you have to use the cooler one. I think this is the cooler one. The only thing I like more about this, I think the inputs for this is way cooler because it can... Let's see. Is there a better way to get this down there? Not really. The thing I like more about this is how we connect these. Like that, so much nicer. just because it's a lot easier to visualize the resources. I mean, we could probably do something like this here, but I don't know. It's not going to top. It's not going to top the single side load. Yeah, this just looks like a recipe for disaster. Maybe we do use this one. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not hard to build because bots do it. And then I think what we spend in resources here, we save in resources here. So entity cost is probably the same. Let's see, what about this? Is one of these better? Technically, this is cheaper. But this is fewer entities. But we could do that with this one too. But yeah, I don't think saving 4 entities per smelting lane, so a grand total of 80 is going to make or break the bank. And then let's switch this to a yellow belt at the end. So we actually have to go into something like this with a splitter, which is a bit annoying, but I don't really see a way to get a full belt here unless we make it larger. We could make it larger, but I don't think making the entire lane 10% taller is going to be... Yeah, I really don't see a vision where making it 10% taller is going to be worth saving 30 belt per lane. Because how much is that? That's not that expensive, right? 30 belt. Yeah, 300 iron compared to the whole lane is pretty small. We have 300 iron in inserters alone. And another like 600 in belt. Yeah, okay. So 10% taller and like 5% cheaper. Yeah, not worth it. This doesn't work. We must have rotated a belt. Okay. I guess this is the one we go with then. Cool. We're going to keep this one because I think the bottom one looks really cool. We're just going to save it as some random blueprint that we put somewhere. Because this has both halves. Let's see, furnace design. Let's see, double furnace design. What should we call this? It's not really a double furnace. What is it? Just 48 furnace design bots. Sure, that's what it is. It's exactly what it is. Okay, this does let us do this though, which is cool. But again, still don't even know if we'll be doing that. But I do like that I can. Okay, so this will not break things, right? And then this one is side load here. Oh wait, we can't do the side load here. Right. Wait, why did I do the side load? Why don't I just like waste 10 iron? There we go. That way we don't have to worry about the belts doing that connection thing that was pointed out. Okay, and then obviously we'll probably be saving... Did I have more space? Wait, these are going to be undergrounds, aren't they? When did they switch to undergrounds? Do they ever use undergrounds for smelting lane in like an actual run? Also, let's turn the blinking off. I guess they... What the heck is that? Wait, LDS uses direct fed uses direct fed steel? That's fantastic. And direct fed copper. Interesting. I can't imagine we'll be doing something like that because we already have some direct fed in our outposts and it is terrible. I mean, it's really good for what it is, but I can't imagine it's going to be useful in our main base because it is very space inefficient. We can justify it because we need the UPS, but I don't think the UPS savings in the main base are going to be that sizable. Because the main base, I'm expecting it to be 5 to 10% of our production, roughly. Probably it's going to peak at 10, and by the end of the run, it's going to be like 5%. And by peak, I mean like 3 hours before launch, it's going to be about 10%, and then it's going to stop producing anything, and then it's going to be like 2 to 5 or something like that. Also, what is blinking? Oh, a train. But yeah, saving inserters, saving undergrounds here probably isn't worth it. But that did give me the idea. We might have been able to do something if we had an underground here. Not entirely sure. Actually, that doesn't look like it does anything. Okay, maybe that wouldn't have done anything. Wait. Oh, right. I was just looking at this and it's like, wait, why didn't I sideload it? Right, because consistency. I wanted that extra production. So literally all of this is just to make it that like one of the furnaces works a little bit faster. I really don't know if that's worth it because I'm not sure if any of the furnaces are going to work full speed. So it really might not have an effect. And I'm in map view again, so I can't use F. But just in case it has an effect, we're going to go with it. Okay, and then same concept, except now this is down here. And then I think I can actually... Actually, I don't know what this will be, so I probably shouldn't try to make it that condensed. We'll just leave it on the end right now. We can figure things out later. This is like the first draft. We do not... It's literally not worth any time investment to make it compact. Okay. This looks cool. So this will use one belt and one belt. So this is a full red belt. So that gets split like this. You're proud of my cleanish, scalable designs if it just wasn't for those inserters? Nah, you don't understand. That's what makes it scalable. Because if we weren't using them, we wouldn't be making a scalable design. So like we owe it all to those inserters. Otherwise it would just be a mess of spaghetti. I mean, it's still going to be a mess of spaghetti because it's not going to be that scalable. It needs to be scalable within the base, but it only needs to be scalable up till the end of the base, I guess. But yeah, this looks cool. And then we can rotate this. Yeah, okay. Now that looks right. As a challenge that makes me do city blocks, I can't imagine what would require me to do city blocks, to be honest. But, you know, if you think of something, let me know. I feel like I'm gonna be so tempted to like delete this belt, but I can probably resist the temptation. Okay, so this should be designed properly based on nothing, but it should be designed properly. We might, I feel like if we redesign the inserters, we might be able to save some undergrounds. But I think that would require us to use red undergrounds, and I'm pretty sure those get really expensive. City blocks, those are like when you have like a little train system that you can just kind of paste. And you just have like some localized production within that train grid. And it's just infinitely scalable. Not sure about like throughput wise, but you can just always paste a block to get extra production somewhere. And hope that trains work its way there. So very much not the way I tend to design things, because I tend to make things very unscalable. But they're pretty cool. They're pretty common for a lot of like modded playthroughs or like pseudo megabase stuff or megabase stuff. Okay, so now we just paste this 4 times. And that should be good. Wait, these are all rotating the wrong way. Why aren't these working? Oh, because they don't have power. Duh. Yeah, it's hard to connect power when nothing needs power. Or it's hard to remember to connect power when nothing needs power. Okay, honestly, this looks decent. And it's only... I think we managed to make it only about 3 or 4 tiles wider than a normal furnace lane. So that's... Okay, our normal furnace lane, not a normal furnace lane. But then like the standard lane to add this little side loader. Didn't add a huge gap, so that's nice. It should help with the consist. Honestly, I should probably test it with one that isn't designed this way, right? To make sure it actually did something. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then we'll have 4 belts here. Can we upgrade these? No, we cannot. Can we just do a fast chest, though? Or a fast loader? There we go. Okay, so we're going to have red belts here. This should be the unloading station. I don't know if we need a balancer. I feel like we'll want to balance these some way, but I'm not sure if that's really worth it. But yeah, this looks nice. And this is the control. So what we should be seeing Well, we won't be able to test it for a while. We need to start it first. What is using up all my UPS? Is there anything we can cut? Okay, I know what we can do. We can just go to a different map. Okay, 4 furnace setup. 4x4 furnace setup. It's not 4x4. I don't even know what I mean by 4x4 there. Restart. Oh, wait. Have we saved this? I don't know if we've saved this recently. We should have auto saves, but yeah, let's save it first. That was weird. Okay. So now we're on a new base. I did not save the blueprint in the right spot. I saved the blueprint, but it's still in my inventory. Well, there is an attempt. Where was it? Actually, no, it's not in my inventory. Where the heck is it? Let's see. Burner 4x4. Create blueprint. Put it in the shared blueprint book. There we go. Now we save. Actually, we don't need to save this one. You're late to the party, but why are you using burner inserters in the smelting lane? So I am doing a run where I get all of the achievements in Factorio in a single stream, but I'll be using burner inserters. So we are currently designing the base to do that, because we will be using blueprints. I did it once without blueprints, but because of that, it wasn't a single stream. But I want to do it with just one sitting to actually, like, basically follow the 100% speedrun rules. But yeah, that means I'm not letting myself use regular inserters or electric furnaces or burner or regular drills. So we can use burner drills, burner inserters, and I do let myself use stone and steel furnaces, so nothing else is limited. Technically, I'm not expressly forbidding them, but Logibots and solar panels I pretty much have exclusively for the achievements. But we're not good, we're not doing a bot base. I don't even know if you could do a bot base in 12 hours that would pay for itself, because they're pretty expensive. But yeah, it's fun. It's going to take like 12 hours probably. We're currently testing some designs, although they don't work because I didn't copy them correctly. This is a great functional lane. Start delay is incredibly high with this. Do I need... Oh, wait, do I need stack size? I think I need stack size for this to work full speed. But yeah, there's a lot of fun designs. Start research. We need up to this one for this to work. But yeah, this is a double long smelting lane, but trying to minimize the use of red inserters, because burners don't really love red inserters unless fuel is already backed up. Or sorry, not red inserters, red belts. Unless stuff is already backed up. So we're trying to minimize it as much as we can. This needs to produce coal. We're testing this in a different save right now, which is why it's just very empty. And why this fuel and stuff wasn't set up. Yeah, howdy, Fredward. There we go. Now I can just do it in bulk. Okay, that should be all the fuel we need.
Beef taco.
Yo, thanks so much for the resub. 13 months. Nice. Okay, does this work? Are these, like, not deleting things? Did I do something wrong? Why are these backed up? How is this already not working? Did I do something? What the heck did I do? How much planning is there going to be? We have to design the whole base, so probably a lot more. Probably a lot more planning. Because the goal is to do this one with blueprints, basically following every rule of the 100% run. I don't get why these are backing up. Is it because of, like, loader weirdness? Green circuits without... Oh, boy. Do I have something for you. That is a fun... Is it a yellow loader? Well, it's a splitter going into 2 yellow loaders, so I thought that would work. Does it not? Or is this... Did I miscount? No, that's 24. I don't know why these are backing up. Yeah, it's a splitter going to yellow loaders. Maybe they don't work the same. Maybe this can't. No, splitters have to handle the full throughput. Do I just need like one red belt of buffer space? Would that do something? I don't. Factorio's black magic sometimes. Does this fix it? I don't think that fixes it. But yeah, these are the designs. I don't understand. Does anybody who's smarter than me in terms of Factorio know why this is not working for testing? Maybe it's just burner inserter timings. It could just be burner inserter timings just are terrible. Are the burner inserters fast enough to unload the smelters? They weren't. They weren't, but we did fix that. Because initially they were not fast enough. They're like 95% of the speed. But yeah, let's just re-blueprint it. That works. But yeah, we did fix it. That's why I researched stack size, which I did research, right? Yeah, we have stack size too now. Yeah, so they should be fast enough. Maybe it was stuck because there's no coal for output inserters. The output inserters can't get stuck, though. The way I have this designed, it's very consistent and nothing can brown out, except in some extreme scenarios where these ones die, but that requires you to run out of fuel entirely, which is very unlikely with the setup that I have. Start time is slow, but at least they start pretty consistently. But yeah, the reason we switched to a different save is so I can speed it up to, 3600 UPS. Because the other save is, we have a lot of designs everywhere. We can't run it at the speed I need to test things in a reasonable time. We can only run it at like 6 times speed now. Okay, so in theory, this design should be better, and I think we can confirm that right now because this is not yellow, which is it's marginally better, but it is slightly better. We're just going to now not remove unfiltered items. Add this onto the end because we need to test if one of them is better. Wow, why are these filled up? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Well, I understand why they have one. But yeah, in theory, these bottom designs should be slightly better. I don't know if that matters because I don't know if we'll have full belts. But the reason that we went to so much effort to split these belts is so that they run more consistently. No idea how they act in terms of consistency though, or in terms of like UPS. Okay, we'll just run it until they're like mostly full. But as long as this one is higher, as long as these are higher, I'm happy. Okay, so these are rounding 34. Let's see, 4 plus 61, 4 plus... Oh, that is not much. Is that really worth it? I mean, I guess there's not really any downsides, right? Well, actually, there is. I am making it wider. Is this worth it? I don't know if this is worth it for my purposes. Although it's hard to test because we do have this whole weirdness going on with inserters not being able to unload. Maybe I missed a belt. No, there's no way I missed a belt. If I missed a belt, they would be way, way more broken. Hmm. Well, now they're just full. Okay, so now this is a pretty obvious one. I really don't know enough about like splitters and loaders to get why this is not working. Like my guess would be that this just kind of breaks things and they can't fully go through to be downgraded to a yellow belt. But I feel like I don't know, that just sounds weird to me. I would think they would be pretty consistent. Can you make a longer yellow belt so we can see the belt? That's true. I could just expand the yellow. It's worth a shot. Oh, it does have gaps in it. What's the command to highlight gaps? Does anybody know? Or not the command, the also, if I'm muted, just let me know because something might I might mute myself while changing these settings. Okay, cool. I managed to not mute myself. That button is the same button as my mute button, and sometimes I forget. I mean, there are gaps. That's probably the problem. Does a prio help? I don't know. I don't know what how a prio would help. I can't imagine a clock would be a good idea. Maybe I just have to accept that they don't run full speed. And then there's my original idea of what if we just have a longer red belt for it to balance itself out on. Did that do something? I don't know if that did anything. Okay, that has gaps. This one doesn't. I mean, it has gaps here, obviously. Is that the fix? No, this one still has gaps. Okay, so I think we're just pausing it on that weird intervals. Yeah, no, it definitely. I don't know why this one isn't showing gaps anymore, but I mean, clearly this one's doing something different. Oh, there they are. It seems to be small. What if we just do this? We can estimate how much we're actually losing from it pretty easily. So we're going to run it for, let's see, 60 seconds? That's this, right? That should be 60 seconds. Which means we should get 1800 times, we should get 1800. Or 900 in each chest. So we are losing a very small amount. Okay, it's not nearly as bad as it looks. It feels like it's backed up a lot more, but we are losing 15 for every 1800 resources. We can accept, I think we can accept like a 0.5% loss if we can't figure out what's broken about this. Oh, wait. Aren't gaps from time when inserters for ore are refilling? Um, they should have the speed for that not to be an issue because the gaps are from the output, not the smelting speed. Do you think it's because of this? Do you think it's because our inserters aren't consistently spaced anymore? Oh wait, but the outputs are consistently spaced, but they're not. Do you think this is the problem? I feel like that could be the problem. Because, like, inserter timings are important. Can you copy one line and, oh, test them with electric inserters? Yeah, we could try that as well. Burner inserters to electric inserters. Upgrade. Power and copy this output thingy. And then I think we should be able to do this with a, what is it? Where is it? Where's power poles? I haven't looked at a power poles in days. I can't remember where they are. There they are. Substations. Yeah, more poles needed. I would just try. I genuinely cannot find substations. That's a lot of gaps. The start time is pretty high, isn't it? Highlighting gaps right now is a bit rough. It's pure gaps. So can we just blame inserters, burner inserters being awful? Is that what we can do? Another reason burner inserters suck? You just lose 1% of the production for no reason. I mean, if I had to guess, maybe they just don't have enough movement speed to make up for gaps. What if we get the stack size? We could get the final stack size upgrade, see if that helps. There was one more thing I wanted to test, and that was making these not offset. Only way to fix that is to let the last furnace output on the side belt. Ooh, you know, we could actually do that. Honestly, that works really well. I think it doesn't. I don't think it causes that many problems. Yeah, we could try that. Because we're basically just replacing this with a side belt instead. So we don't technically have to use more space. So is this all we need to do with your idea? Is there anything like special I have to do with this? Okay, we're have the siloed at the end of a filled belt. So that would be here. This hopefully fills the gaps. I'm muted. How long was I muted? I I think I should probably change the button that opens the grid view. Considering the mute button is really good. I was not muted. Cool. I mean, I was muted for like a sentence, I think. Okay, cool. There we go. Let's empty them a little bit. Okay, now I'm not seeing any issues. Now I feel like I'm imagining the whole thing. There were problems, right? Oh, there we go. There's a gap. There's a gap. There's still gaps here, though. Do I need more? Do you need more than just a single furnace on the end to make up for it? Maybe that's it. Maybe I need like a little bit extra output. I think I can only afford to do one inserter on the side. Because it would be a bit awkward. Your ore looks like the problem. Does it? I mean, this one, yes. Oh, this one? Oh, okay. So this one, I was testing the original. Right. So this one is supposed to be broken. This one, the ore is supposed to be a problem on. This one is the control. So this is showing us why we went to all the effort to do this awkward side load, because this one does run out. That's why these separate them, because as you can tell, these are running a little bit better. Yeah, this one is a better example of how the side load will work. Because this one does run low. It loses about like 5-10% production occasionally. But yeah, this one should be running consistently. If we could sideload something here, maybe if we do red belt a little bit earlier, that could help. Because like right now, I think we're doing it right at 12, right? So what if we do it at the 12th? This is just black magic at this point. But what if we speed up earlier than we need to? Or you can try fully clocking. Clocking the outserter, no. Clocking clocking in general with these kinds of inserters is very UPS intensive for how poorly they move. So it's not really worth it, I don't think. Because I did look into clocking, but like with how slow these kinds of inserters are, like you don't save UPS that much. So I couldn't get it to work in a way that didn't lose as much UPS as it spent on the clock. And this is a very significant portion of our base. This will be like, this will be 5 or 10% of our main base. It's way less UPS intensive inserter than inserter waiting for a gap to unload something. I think that's my point is that I think that's a lot less true when the inserters are incredibly slow. Like, I think with burner inserters, clocking has a much lower benefit. But there are less gaps now, so this works well enough. Yeah, with fast and stack, it's a lot better because you're actually saving outputs. With burner inserters, they're still moving about as fast as they possibly can. It's like my understanding is that a lot of the time saving from clocking comes from like, way fewer actions, but these still like, they still move as hard as they can. Those poor little guys, they're doing their best. But yeah, this seems to be working decently. Okay, thanks for that suggestion. That's viable. Okay, and it doesn't really complicate our design at all. So that's also very good. Belt input, I think belt cost is pretty much the same. But yeah, moral of the story, burner inserters are terrible but fun. That is always the message that we have. Okay, this should be good. If it's not good, it's at least good enough, which is also fine. Then we don't need these anymore. Wait, we do need the inputs. We don't need the outputs there. I mean, we could technically have the outputs there. We don't really need them, though. Actually, they might break things. And then, what was the other change? To extend the red belt a little bit farther back. That way it covered the 13th inserter. Okay. There we go. So someone was asking about green chips. So we have a really cool design for that. And it uses almost entirely direct feeding. This is our circuit outpost. It realistically will have it half this size and we'll do twice as many. Because this right here requires 2 copper patches and it requires 1.5 copper patch and 1 iron patch for it to work. Which is hard to connect. I think, I'm not really sure. That will require us to like do some testing. But I'm not sure if it'll be easier to connect 20 separate patches or to connect 40 patches or to connect double patches to a single outpost. That's really just going to take some practice to figure it out. But yeah, this is our green chip outpost. So the general idea is it's direct feeding everything, and it also has a whole lot of belt stubs, which is basically, it's a similar idea to what we have here. Make it that you're not completely backing up the belt constantly, or not, make sure you're not like maxing out the belt speed or the belt throughput, because then the things on the ends tend to run poorly. They have trouble grabbing from the belts. I think technically it might be better for UPS. I'm not sure. But the main thing for this is that it just makes them run more consistently. So we have belt stubs all the way down. It tessellates. It's like this weird rectangular pattern right here because it's like a diagonal design. There is a more compact way to build it. I decided it was not worth it because it made redesigns absolutely awful. But we did have an original design where it was staggered like this, but then also staggered down and over to the side. So that saved about 2 tiles for every... How wide is this? It saved about... It was about 10% less wide. But it made it that fixing it was pretty much impossible because you had to redesign everything by scratch every time you redesigned it because it wasn't super tileable. You had to do everything in one set, which was a lot. So now it's just tileable in this row, and then there's like, I think this is what it tesslates on. So now you only have to redesign this much if you fix something, which is way nicer. But absolutely love it. It uses okay. I think it uses 1 megawatt each, but they run at like half speed. So this entire thing is about a 200 megawatt outpost, which is why we're going to need 2 to 3 gigawatts of steam engines, which is just a great concept. We have self-fueling inserters here, but self-fueling inserters are very bad. I've mentioned this before. Nuclear is not possible because of burner drills. You can't mine uranium. Otherwise, I would use it because I think that would be hilarious. But there's no way to mine uranium without an electric inserter or electric drill. At least not anymore. I swear it used to be possible, but I might have been imagining it. Or maybe you could just hand mine it. But I don't know. I thought it used to be possible. Maybe I should roll back to a version where it was just for fun. No, that would not be worth losing so many quality of life improvements. And I think just UPS improvements. So much of a trade-off. But yeah, the general idea of this, direct feeding reduces the inserter count by like 30 to 40% or something like that. Because you're saving every single input inserter, basically. You're just trading every input inserter for an output inserter directly from the furnaces. Downside, you do use more use more assemblers this way because the assemblers idle more. But I think that's ends up being a little bit better, or from the testing, it does seem to be a little bit better than having extra inserters and having the assemblers idle less. Like, idle assemblers don't tend to be that problematic. You can see there is a little bit of circuit logic here, and this is brownout protection for the unsafe inserters. So what I consider an unsafe inserter is a self-feeding inserter that can brown itself out just ever. So, that can brown itself out before it gets fuel. Technically, these can brown themselves out, but that's pretty unlikely. But for me, an unsafe inserter is an inserter which will brown itself out before it ever gets fuel, which in this situation, like if you have 2 inserters grabbing from this, if the belt density is low enough, this could brown itself out. So we don't have that much of that going on. We do have a little bit of fighting in the corner, but that has to be an incredibly low belt density for that to work. However, grabbing away from a belt, this is pretty much always unsafe, no matter what the belt density is, unless it's completely backed up. So that's what this logic is. So all of the inserters that grab from a belt going away from them are attached to this belt at the top that reads this one little prioritized side. And all this does is make it that this inserter does not run until the belt backs up all the way. It obviously makes it start slightly slower because, we're losing like 20% of production for a couple minutes, but it makes it that they don't stall. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to do this direct feeding at all without having half as many inserters. So it is the better option overall. And if we didn't have these, I can pretty much guarantee that they would immediately die, and we would just always have 20% less production. Have you checked how big the UPS hit for an array of steam engines? I haven't really tested that, but I can't imagine it's going to be that significant compared to the outpost that we're running. But we can always, if the power requirement does end up being a problem, we can always downgrade them to blue assemblers, and the idea works the same because it's always going to be resource limited. Can always switch to solar. Solar, aside from the fact that it's partially against my rules, not entirely, but it's partially against my rules. Solar does not pay for itself within a limited time generally. It's great for mega bases. It's not great for mega bases that only run for like 10 more hours. The amount of resources I would have to put into solar panels, I don't think would ever pay for the UPS savings that I would get out of them. Now, if I was going like, 20, if I was going a few hours longer, I think they would definitely, solar would be great. But with the infrastructure that would go into producing as many solar panels as I'd need to keep my ever expanding base, I'm pretty sure that would slow everything down enough to just kind of cancel out. But we'll see. Maybe steam engines will be way worse than I expected. Our steam engine design does use a lot of direct feeding though. So this is the steam engine layout. Which this should simplify a lot. So we're not doubling up on inserters, which will help. It's a pretty close ratio. It can use whatever fuel, whatever fluids we have. It's probably going to be petroleum. But this will be nice. Also, not using coal in the steam engines will help a ton. Because that would definitely, if we had to use coal for these, I think that would be a lot rougher. Because I said I need like 2 gigawatts, right? Which is, how many belts of coal is that? 15? What's a yellow belt of coal is 60 megawatts. So I would need 30 yellow belts of coal, which would be 2,000 burner drills for coal mining or something like that. If I wanted to use coal. But yeah, we haven't done a ton of testing with those. But mostly because I just kind of figured if we scale up, I figured this is, I'm assuming that this is not going to be that bad because I think that's going to scale relatively with our old design. It's like our steam engine are going to be proportionally larger to like our outpost design. So I just figured if this is 10% better, this will probably be, at least not too bad. But yeah, we'll obviously have to do a test with our base at our full capacity to make sure things actually run, see if there's anything we can change. Because it could be worth it to downgrade these to blue assemblers for the power cost. I think to do this with blue assemblers, it does use, well, it uses more inserters. I guess that's a problem. It uses a lot more inserters, actually. Does it use more inserters? I don't know. Well, I guess you basically just lose the production bonus. So it uses like 8% more inserter, 8 to 10 more percent. Probably like 8% more inserters. But yeah, right now we have it with yellow assemblers. It's an easy fix to downgrade them because I think even with blue assemblers, they are still inserter limited. Let's test that real quick. Where are the assembly machines? Oops. Yeah, it's a really cool design. I absolutely love it. This one took like 3 streams, I think, to design with help from chat. At least to make it a little bit more consistent. At least with like the belt stubbing and making it more scalable. Trying to unfold the design I originally had. Which I don't think I have on this save, but yeah, the original design looked like this, but it was it didn't tessellate as well because I tried to make it compact and that wasn't worth it. But yeah, this one's pretty cool. This whole thing makes 500k per hour. The goal is to have 10 of these or 20 half the size. And that will literally just depend on how many how many drills I can fit on an average patch. I don't know that yet. This obviously is not that many. but I've done some testing and I've managed to get 360 on separate patches, so I feel like 360 is reasonable. Uh, Especially since I can be picky about patches. Like this run right here is pretty good. I could get 360 on that. This is a very small test patch. And I think if I did 360, this is 360 times 0.25 times 1.6. No, 1.5. Well, no, 1.6. We're getting 3 infinite researches. So that's 144 items per second. So that's a little over 3 yellow belts. Or a little, wait. No, that's almost 5 red belts of copper. So I think I will be able to run this much from a single outpost and aim for like 14 of them. 12 or 14 of them. Okay, so how can I test power? Can I just do, are infinite pipes a good way to test power? Probably not. I don't really know how I would test power. I could spawn in like oil patches, that might work. Because I think I've mostly accomplished what I wanted to do today. I just wanted to figure out how to do the smelters. Because we need to paste like 20 more of those. But yeah, these are the designs. They're really cool. Power requirement, I think with this one is way lower. Because let's see, this uses about 1 megawatt? No, 700 kilowatts. Oh wait, no, it uses about 1 megawatt. Whereas this uses a quarter of that. That is a pretty sizable difference in power requirement for sure. Separate power network, then you check on the power poles. Oh, for testing the power requirement of this? Yeah, I was just going to look at the whole thing. On average, it uses about 80 megawatts. Whereas the old version... Oh wait, that's not the old version. Okay. We'll need to recopy this. Because these are missing the prod modules. Or we can just place prod modules. That's also an option. Yeah, actually that would be faster than trying to like just reload it. There we go. Don't worry, I can't see anything in it either. We don't have the module inserter mod on this save, otherwise we would just use that. And I'm not sure. I think I could have just deleted and copied the original base. I'm not confident if our... I don't think we've treated the edges yet. So we do have some extra stubs here, but obviously in the final design, we'll cut the edges and make it that we save a few belts here and there. We just haven't done that yet. Okay, power requirement of this one. Actually, it's not that much higher. That's not too bad. Okay, so they end up only using like double the power. So that's not... It's definitely... Because we're furnace limited, the power requirement isn't nearly as significant as the listed power draw makes it seem. Just because of all the idle dissimilars. Okay, so that's definitely something we can live with. Double power seems viable. Let's save this. Use electric furnaces. Yeah, electric furnaces would be great. I don't know if that would help our power problem, though. Okay, so how do we test the power grid? Just like roughly. I also don't know why restarting does that. Oh, because it has to generate the whole map. Never mind. Never mind. That's why it causes problems. I should have power saved here, right? Yeah. I know we can set these to consume power, right? I don't know if that's a bad idea. I feel like that requires math. I also don't know. I think I've heard infinity pipes and stuff are really bad for UPS, so I don't know if using those is actually like a good test of UPS. But how long can this go with a single pipe? I would make this 20 long, right? Well, no, we would probably make it 38 long. So that would go here, here. That is, how many is this? That's 24, so we can actually make it another 16 long. Which I know does not add to 38, but it doesn't tessellate perfectly. Ooh, but it does because we can do that. Actually, that does tessellate perfectly. Nice. 37, never mind. It doesn't tessellate perfectly. I thought it was too good to be true. Wait, how did I get such a weird number of furnaces? Oh, because it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's why we got off there. Okay, so this is basically the power plant. How much does this produce? This is 152 times 1 point times 0.9. That's 136, so we need, let's say 2,000. We need 14 of these. Honestly, that's not that bad. I was expecting way worse. And we can have it consume 136. Wait, what unit is this in? Probably watts, right? Or is this in kilowatts? Wait, what? Is this in watts per tick? What? Is this in joules per tick? I'm so confused. What is this unit? Can we add math in here yet? No, that's in the expansion. This has to be in ticks, right? 136 times 8. 10,088,123. No? What the heck? What unit is this in? I figured it was going to be in watts. But obviously it's not, because then it would just translate to megawatts. Yeah, it has. Does buffer size matter? Huh. Whatever, we're just gonna guess. There we go. That's about exactly what we need. That's a great way to do it, right? And then we kickstart it with some nuclear fuel. Maybe we'll be fine. Oh, they're not connected to this, though. Okay, let's see if this actually starts. Okay. This seems to be working fine and is consuming not enough because it's not connected to those sides. There's clearly something wrong here. Is my math off? This should be producing about 152. Are these not connected? No, they are. Okay, how do we use these buffers? Maybe I just need a larger buffer or a smaller buffer? I don't get why it's only at 74. Something weird is going on and I don't know what it is. Are we out of water? There's not enough water. These aren't supposed to be connected. Okay, I know what it is now. There we go. These are supposed to have separate power grids because that's why I made it 38 long, or separate pipe grid. There we go. There we go. So we need more of these. So this produces, let's see, can I actually connect them? Will that work? No. Why does that not work? Okay, whatever. We're just going to produce as many as we need and make it whatever 2,000 will be. 1.4 gigawatts, that's not enough. That's roughly enough. Okay, let's do 2.4. That should be fine. Right? That should be fine. I mean, usually that's true when I say that. Maybe. I mean, not usually, but maybe. There's no fuel in the new ones? Oh, is that what it is? Does it? Oh, right. It doesn't show you until it gets fuel, does it? Well, they should be, like, connected. Oh. Oh. I see what you mean. I didn't copy high enough. Thank you. I see the problem. There we go. Okay. Yeah. That makes way more sense. Good catch. Hey, I don't think the grids are always fully connected. Okay, how much power is this? I think this is an unrealistic amount of power, actually. For what we need. Like, this is less power than a normal base would use with electricity. It's just steam engines are awful. Where does this test light? I can't actually see where these go. There we go. There we go. Okay, this is not connected all the way through, is it? Missing these two gaps. Okay, so this is 1.2 gigawatts. Megawatts. That's not too bad. I mean, it's using a lot of energy, but... Okay, yeah, this is pretty significant. I mean, actually, this isn't that bad, I don't think. I mean, we are using like half of our computer for this, but still, it's not that bad. What's using all of the... Oh, that was the wrong button. Did I pause it? Nope, still running. Is it boilers that... Boilers and generators? Oh, wow, these... Wait, what's considered generators? Are these generators? Or are these the generators? No, that's the electric... Okay, so these are probably the generators. But yeah, this is roughly how much... I think this is roughly how much power we'll need, right? Because I said we use 170 per outpost. No. Yeah, we use 170 per outpost and all of 10? No, 9. All of about 9. So yeah, we need about this much power. This is so much power. Yeah, hopefully we can support this. But is this better than using more assemblers? I'm not really sure. How do we test this? Oh, I know what we could do. I know what we could do. Power burner 100 power test. We actually consume the power. That would be good. We should have something, right? New outpost. Do we not have a blueprint of our outpost in this one? I guess we haven't backed up. We should probably back up our blueprint somewhere. Oh, it could be outpost track. No, it is not. Yeah, we should definitely back up our blueprint somewhere. I might upload this save somewhere so I don't lose it. Although I guess I do technically have the blueprints in Discord. And then how do we test it with drills? Should I test it with drills? Maybe this has got to be UPS testing. Blueprints. This is 500k per min outpost, I think. Pretty sure that's what that one is. Then where's our drills? We set up a drill design. That is this thing. outpost drill setup. Yeah, I really hope... I'm not entirely sure if burner inserters will be worse than fluids. It's just... we'll have to find out. Because basically for the outposts, we have two options. We either power them with solid fuel or we can power them with inserters. Both of them are awful. Because you're looking at either 2,000, like 2 or 3,000 total drills, or like a bunch of refineries, and all of them suck. I wouldn't recommend either of those options, to be honest. Okay, so how do we test this? Can we do fake outposts? Would that be a good idea? We could also test it with like actual patches and then just copy the patch. That might be good. Okay, so basically this is the outpost that we have to go to. Because I do want to get an idea of how much headroom we have to work with to see where we need to figure out where our time save is to get the 12-hour goal. So this comes from down here. These are... Let's get resources on them first. Connecting these the first time is going to be so hard. I'm glad we're going to have blueprints for this because this is a mess. Okay, so this is the drill setup. I think this larger one is supposed to be copper. The smaller one is supposed to be iron. Okay, I think we might have to like tone down the base a little bit. Just for testing purposes. Also, what is this? Oh, these are the patch. Oh, wait. What was my idea here? Oh, okay, my idea was to base my location of my base off of the copper, and then iron I connect to the copper, so then I only have to connect one patch. Okay, that's not too bad. That makes sense. So that would be... Let's see, here. Oh, these patches are awful. I know I say that a lot, but they're all awful. Burner inserters are awful. You know what's not awful though? This design I think is really good. Should I just like make my own patches for testing purposes? Maybe I should. So I don't go crazy. There we go. That's a reasonable size patch. Yeah, we'll see if that that goal is reasonable. We're doing some UPS tests right now. Oh, that's way too big. Way too big. Wait, which one's density? That's intensity, right? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so that I think is how many belts is this? This is only 4, right? Oh, this is 7. That's a really weird number. But hello, Criso. Yeah, this is a project I've been working on for a while. Also, I'm gonna remove those blinkings real quick. Hello, Wildroid. But yeah, I have a fascination with burner inserters for who knows why. I shouldn't. I wouldn't recommend them to anyone, but they're so fun. Because you have to get real creative in ways you wouldn't normally have to. Especially when you want to actually scale it up to like, 5 million green chips per hour that sounds like such a high goal. Oh, I just realized I named the blueprint 500 green circuits per minute, which is very far off by a factor of 60. Okay, I think for testing purposes, we can just connect this here. That should be fine. My goal is to make 4 of these and then clone it. Only a factor of 60? That's pretty good. Yeah, only a factor of 60. I mean, I think that's right? Yeah. Yeah, because I accidentally made my estimate, or wrote the number in terms of hours, or minutes instead of hours. Yeah, only a factor of 60. We're doing great. Okay. I want to test it without infinity chests because I need to test the mining drill to get a good idea of how much performance this is gonna take. So then we can fine tune our goal. Maybe add a few hours to it because we might have to. Okay, that should work, right? Yeah. Okay, and then we need mining productivity up to 5. Research, research, research. Okay, and then stack size up to 3. Actually, that's just all of them. Okay, because that's what we'll have by this point. Okay, so this is how much we can run with a standard patch. Oh my gosh. After playing 2 different factory games, you respect me so much more. Which factory games were you playing? Were they fun? Does this work? Yeah, okay. Yeah, this works. So this is how much we can run with the standard patch. That's factory and shapes. They're fun, but also difficult to optimize. Yeah, that's why I usually don't do the optimization part. I kind of just, that's why I just kind of place things randomly. Except for this one. This is like the one base that actually has to run really well because of the time limit and computer bottlenecks. Because, yeah, mega bases be like that. Okay. There we go. So yeah, right now we are cutting down this to test it with actual inserters, which is something we haven't had to do before. Or sorry, actual drills, which I don't think changes a ton, but it does change a little bit. How do we delete? How do you delete things like this? I don't know how to delete things. Do I just like place a surface on it? No. I could do this. That doesn't seem like the best way, but I mean, I think it works. There has to be more elegant ways, but that's what we're going with, and there we go. Perfect. There was no problem with that. Okay. Now we replace the iron. Look, it technically worked. That's what matters. What is speed? Oh, these are different. Oh, interesting. Okay, brush is different than cursor. Got it. Yeah, I don't use this editor mode much. Okay, and then same thing here. We'll figure this out somehow. We copy this, but this is I think this goes into fewer drills, right? Because it's like a 1-to-3 ratio, or no, it's like a 5-to-4 ratio. So let's just do the same amount. Let's just do the exact same setup here. We can cut things as needed for testing. I think that would be a good idea. Okay. I'm not worried too much about the belt connections right now. I don't think that is something we need to worry about here. At least not for this phase of testing. This is literally just can we run, like, I just want to test to see if I can maybe run 5 of these. Or, no wait, what's the goal? With the size that we have, I don't actually know what the goal is. Can I get 4 million? If I can get 4 million, I'm happy. If I can get 5 million, I'm really happy. If I can get 3 million, we somehow made a design that's worse than our original design, and I really don't think that's the case, but that is technically possible. There is a chance of that, but I think it's very unlikely. Okay, how do we have this design? What is this? Okay, I think we need to do the iron differently because it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. Right now, the way we have it is like a 1-to-2. Okay. We need to redo all of these belts, I think. I thought being lazy would work here, but it really doesn't. Okay, so copper can stay like it is. The thing we need to reconnect is the iron. I'm really not sure what the bottleneck will be, but we basically need to take the iron and compress it. And split it? I'm not really sure. How do we do this? I haven't quite figured out the ratios yet. I feel like maybe I could count the furnaces. That's 18. These are 18. Okay, so I think technically we can split. Can I count the furnaces? Is that a consistent way to do it? Oh, I counted the wrong lane. Okay, so it's like 18 to 35. That's a really weird ratio. But that is basically 1 to 2. Okay, so let's just try a splitter going into 2 and see if that works. Because it might work fine. And then maybe we can fill in the gaps with something. Oh my gosh, why don't we have any? Why don't we have anything? There we go. There we go. Okay, what else do we need? Okay, this is not how the connections will look like in the actual design. But you know, we need to do more math before we can do the actual like connections, so I don't feel like it's worth designing them perfectly right now. So that's why we're doing whatever this is, just, you know, quick and dirty connections. What I feel like we'll need to do is actually compress these into a red belt and then split them off at the end. That's what I'm thinking the designs will look like. So that way they balance out. Because I think what we need is like 1.5 yellow belts at each section, which is weird. Which is really hard to do with just regular belts. Yeah, maths. They're the worst. Avoid them if you can. Okay. Everything looks connected. And we obviously have 2 extra lanes here. So let's see. This is 240 going into 160. Honestly, that's the ideal ratio. Technically. But that's before prod modules. Prod modules might change that. And because of that, we're just going to do this. We are going to upgrade all the inputs from here up. Just to red belt. Anything that's not grabbed by an inserter. So that way, we can supplement it here. I think that works. We'll see. But yeah, I think this does what I want. Yeah, it's very awkward, but it does what I want. Input, 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 and input. Okay. I think that works. I really don't know the exact number, but once these idle, they're not that bad for UPS, so I think it still is helpful for testing purposes. And then what we do here is we connect the oil between the two, but we don't connect the other things. Okay. At least I think that was my original plan. And then these don't have inputs. That's fine. They get them from here. We'll worry about saving inserters later. Okay. And then we don't want electric energy interfaces. What we do want is actual pumps. So how do we do that? That would be a boiler, right? No. What's an actual pump look like? Let's see. Let's just copy an actual patch. Okay, so all I know how to do is clone this. So we're just going to clone it and that should work. Because realistically, we will have something that's about this close. I have not looked into how much we need. Does anybody off the top of their head know how much these consume per second? You Yeah, just your best guess for what is this? 30 refineries. My best guess is 3. That's possible. That is possible. Wait, did I count right? No, 21. Sorry, 40 refineries. Let's say 40 refineries. They do 100 crude oil over 5 seconds. So that's 20 per second times 40. That's straightforward enough. So we need 5 pumps. No, like 4 pumps. Actually, realistically, we'll have beacons, right? I think we'll have speed mods and beacons here. So what about this? What does this produce? I think technically more. No idea at all, you're afraid. Yeah, that's what I expected, but I had to ask. Okay, this one's pretty good. Okay, it definitely is eye-opening to see how many I'll actually need, though. This is crazy. We'll have a blueprint for this that I think just pastes random things. But for now, this works. But basically my idea is we just have something that we paste and it pastes like 4 of them and they auto-connect and then everything else gets wasted. But because you can definitely just make a grid that does this every like 3 tiles, and if you paste it on a patch, most of them will probably work. You know, you'll obviously waste some and have some wasted pipes, but in terms of placing simplicity, I think it's worth it. And then substations will be over here. Okay. Do these all connect? Moment of truth. These don't connect at all. Middle left pump isn't hooked up. Thank you. Although it doesn't have power, so it's not connected either way, but good catch. Okay, moment of truth. Do I get resources? Startup time is supposed to be somewhere in like the tens of minutes right now, which is, sorry, like 10 to 20 minutes, which is expected. But there isn't much you can do about there really is not much you can do about that. Burner inserters are just really bad. I think there's some problems here. I think these belts aren't connected. Ah. There it is. I was like, something is wrong here. And literally none of them are getting coal. I see. You know, that might be a problem. If I want it to run. It's such an easy fix, but yeah, that is problematic. Okay, I was wondering why it was starting so slowly. I swear we did the test with a better design. I think. I hope so. We might have not done the test with a better design, actually. Okay, and then they do eventually... They won't saturate these belts because these are not the right color. Okay, let's go down the belt. Morning, how's it burning? It's burning pretty good, I think. We're testing how much we can actually run, which is, we'll see. Hopefully it is enough, but it is looking a little bit bleak sometimes. But I think it's just because we've never done a test with everything actually being powered yet. Okay, that doesn't actually need to connect. That's fine. Well, we've only done local tests. We haven't done tests of the whole setup. So I'm hoping our UPS is still about as much as we need. The reason I've never tested this all combined is because the drills are going to be part of any setup that I do. But I think it's at a point where it actually kind of matters. Hello, Tice. Welcome, welcome. Okay, those will probably have yellow belts connecting them. Startup time, like I said, really high. I don't know if that matters that much. Also, we still need to connect the solid fuel to this, but that should be pretty simple. Because we have this whole yellow belt of solid fuel. which we split off like a bajillion times. So that's 1, 2. That's a bajillion. Yellow underground. Oh, right. I forgot that you can do that in editor mode. Good catch. Yeah, this is 100% how it's going to look in the actual run. All of these connections are permanent. We will not be changing them. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right. Of course, you know, I would be surprised if I made anything other than spaghetti, even in testing. So this feels very, very much in line with anything I do. Okay, and then fuel. You know what? We'll split it off this way instead. All of these connections are permanent. All the ore patches are fixed. Yep. This is permanent. This is what our design will actually look like. Nobody can prove otherwise. Or nobody can convince me otherwise, more like it. That there are better ways to do this. Because I think this is perfect. I can't even pretend that's true. Okay, you said I was connecting a yellow belt. Is it this one? Or is there another one somewhere? Yeah, it's very much on brand. Okay. The reason I downgraded all of those is to just make it easier to tell which belts are backed up. Because I know I'm supposed to be getting a full yellow belt. I don't know how much of a red belt I'm supposed to be getting. This doesn't look like a full yellow belt, though. This is supposed to be getting a full yellow belt, right? Maybe I need to get... Oh, that's why. I see the problem. We ran out of solid fuel for some reason. Oops. Don't know what we deleted. What seems to be the problem here? Actually, what is the problem? Did I cut power? Ah, I cut power halfway when I redid them. Okay, let's turn the blinking back on for this then. That would be good. Ah, there we go. Now you can see the problems. There's a lot of them. Okay, so realistically, I don't actually think we need this many pumps if we use speed module. Also, wait, expected resources doesn't account for productivity. So if we do speed modules, if we do beacons and with productivity bonuses, I think we can actually make do with 2 pumps. Should be enough. Because this was actually a yield of like 300 times 2.5. Yeah, because we only need about 800. And that's only to start it. At a steady state, it uses way less. So yeah, we can save a lot there. We also don't need speed modules. We could just do 4. But I figured saving pipes might be nice. Okay, and what's the problem here? Oh, fuel's still backing up, so the entire lane hasn't started, right? Oh, we're still waiting on iron. Did we split the iron wrong? Oh, this isn't connected. Wait, why isn't this connected? Is all of the iron broken, or is it just that one? What is this? What does this go to? Okay, that's where it's supposed to go. Iron's got a few miners out of fuel. It just takes a long time to start. Oh, or you mean copper? Right, this had that same upgrade thing. That same upgrade bug, which you can only do. I think you can only do it in editor mode. It doesn't let you do that with normal. playthrough. Okay, that looks a lot better. You didn't mean iron as it was like something, as it was something like almost half of them awaiting fuel. I'm not sure what you're referring to then. Oh, you just mean from earlier. Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, they were waiting for fuel because I hadn't attached power yet, so they just all ran out. There's like a 10-minute startup time. With speed boost, it's still going to be like 2 minutes probably. Okay, now we need to test our power plant, which is really something. Burner power and outpost test. Okay, is this working as well as it should? Yes, it is. Okay. Does this have backup resources? No. Okay, copper is being consumed. Iron should be very heavily backed up. Because realistically, we don't need these at all. Looking at how the belts are backed up, that does seem to be true. So that does simplify our designs a little bit. Are we getting enough solid fuel? Yes, we are. Okay. And now we want an iron patch here. And then we'll give it some more. So let's just clone like this section. There's definitely better ways to do it than just cloning, but yeah, this works. There we go. Okay, so these will all be using solid fuel, I think. Just for test, not solid. Obviously, they're all using solid fuel. These will all be using petroleum, is my guess. Power requirement is... Are these not connected? Oh, this is only part of a section. So yeah, this only uses 70 megawatts. So we can actually copy this twice. So we're going to like clone this entire section, which, yeah, there's definitely better ways to do it, but this copies the patches, and that sounds nicer. So now we just do this. We paste it right next to it. And now we connect them because they use the same power grid. Okay. And this should be... I actually don't know how much this is, but this should be a fair amount of production. Green circuits. This should be about 500. They're not called green circuits. This should be, when it's all up and running, about 500,000 per hour, I think. And then this can all be ran by one of these, right? Yep. Okay, this is about the exact power requirement we need for this. So how do we test this? Obviously we need like water. Where the heck is water? How do you place water in this mode? Is it resources? No. Surfaces? Is a surface water? Tile? Is it this thing? Ah. What the heck is this? Oh, that's paint bucket. Okay. Does it matter which water I place? I don't think so, right? Think that'll work. And then we need 2 pumps for each of these. Yep, okay. Perfect. Okay, and now this goes into... Ooh, I haven't done any math for this. How much do you think I need here? That is a question. I'm assuming it needs more water than it needs solid fuel, right? Yeah, way more water than it needs solid fuel, which means we could probably double these up. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe I will have to use these. Doing any math might help. Just any math. True. Yeah, just do some math. It doesn't matter what it is. Just a math will be good. And then I actually probably should have put this over here. We're gonna move these. What? Hello? Oh, this isn't clone mode. This is clone mode. There we go. Have you considered do math instead? True, or have I considered B math instead? I have not considered B math. I've heard it's better than A math because it's a higher letter. Like F is the highest grade, right? Therefore, B is a better grade than A math. Yeah, that's how it works. I definitely got Fs because I did great in school. Is this enough? I mean, I guess we could test it fairly easily with some solid fuel. And then efficiency modules. I think efficiency modules are worth it to reduce our power requirement as much as we can. Somehow these are out of water, which is weird. I don't know how. Oh, no, they're out of fuel. Okay, I'm just dumb. It's because we're not getting enough petroleum. Ah, there we go. It's because we never connected it. I wonder why they could be out. There we go. That looks way nicer. Okay, now both halves get fuel. Yeah, we were getting like a weird pattern there. Okay, is this enough? I'm not sure how much solid fuel these consume. Honestly, I think we have enough. I think this doesn't require that many refineries to run. Although none of them are backed up, which makes me think we're not producing as much as we're using. Well, let's just double it. Double it and give it to the next guy. A classic strat. I guess I could have just done the ratio, right? It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so we need about 26 of these. Okay, 22 is close to that. Now they're backed up. Power is not being consumed because we haven't connected the grids yet. Okay, now we need to figure out where the electric interfaces are. I think we only have the 3, right? Yeah, okay. Moment of truth. Can this base run? Now that everything's hopefully connected. This is such a mess of connections. But it is connected, and that's the important thing. Okay, everything seems to be good. So now what do we do? Do we just paste this a bunch of times and hope that it works? UPS seems to be decent, though. 1,000. That gives us a lot of headroom, I think. That's not really based on anything, but it feels right. Yeah, I want to see if we can get like 10 of these. That's really what it comes down to. Power and outpost test. Let's save this. Yeah, I just need to see if I think my computer can run this at least 4 million green chips per hour. One. Yeah, I don't know if the size will matter here. We need 8 of these. Huh. Maybe I should have tried to make it more compact. That's 6. Let's just paste 9 and hope it works. Okay. They are all self-sufficient except for the fact that they do need to be primed. I don't remember. How do I show the infinite stuff here? I haven't been able to find it lately. Is it this thing? It's this thing, right? There we go. Okay. 41. That is not what I meant to press, but I guess it will work. Okay. Those will start. What else? Yeah, start time, I imagine, is going to be incredibly high. Then these should all be placed, right? Because I used copy, not blueprint. Or cloning, not blueprint. Okay, obviously one unified power grid would be better. But the reason I put them in separate grids right now is just so that way I can do a more, that way I can like copy and paste as needed until I like completely max out my computer. Which is a very, very scientific test. Definitely how people normally get UPS bottlenecks in Factorio. Okay, that should be enough. And then if I connect them manually, they'll fix anything that is not connected. They'll eventually make their rounds. Yeah, sure. That probably works. Okay, does everything look connected? Not even remotely. Okay, I'm sure everything has power now. Okay. You know what? Our computer's still running. Things haven't started, but our computer is still running. That's a good sign. Things are backed up. Honestly wasn't expecting this. If I'm I don't know why. I wasn't expecting to be able to produce still. Although we are not producing full speed. So it's not the best test. Do we just need to like keep hand feeding them? Wait, why does it say it's peaking so high? Is it because we're using prod modules? Maybe we just need an extra power plant somewhere. Yeah, we can do that. We can do an extra power plant. Let's see. Let's clone one of these. And let's do just power down here. 1, 2, 3. That should give me some headroom with the power, right? Yeah. Look, this is still faster than it would have been to just do an entire run. So I think it's fine. It's really hard to test everything when like your requirement is, oh yeah, I need to do an entire run of the game. Things are still running, that's good. Yeah, when you have to get like every achievement to get a base this size, and it's like a 10 to 15 hour endeavor when you haven't made blueprints yet. Yeah, I think this time is worth spent. Is well spent. Okay, the real question though is what is my circuit production? 80K per minute, what is that? That is, that is what I need to get. Um, so this is a good sign, right? My goal is about 80K per minute. Anything higher is fine, but 80K per minute is about 5 million per hour. I'm assuming power is probably leveled out. Okay, so this is where most of the headroom for my base will be, or this is where about most of, pretty much all of my base is here. We do have some base, but I think, how many inserters is this? This is 34,000. So realistically, our base itself is only going to have 5,000 inserters in it. So yeah, this is about 90% of our base. I feel like this really shouldn't be running. I mean, I guess it's not fully running. But I mean, I guess what matters is that it is getting the circuits production it needs somehow, despite things not fully running. But these aren't running very well. These are the ones, oh wait, the ones on the bottom don't run full time, right? They're just kind of added there to use up backup iron. But yeah, I don't think those run full time. Copper looks good. It's actually backing up slightly. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting my, like, I hadn't really tested it yet with anything connected. I haven't tested it with drills and power connected in any way. Obviously, in reality, pipes will be a little bit longer, belts will be a little bit longer. But because of how dense the patches are with everything, expanded with everything turned up all the way, things won't be that much farther away. It's like this isn't that unreasonable. Should we see if we can get more? Should we try copying more and see what happens? I feel like we should copy more and see what we can get to. So first things first, let's do the power plant. Like obviously, like there's still gonna be biters stuff around. We're gonna have the whole base. We'll have other things connected, but this is still very promising, considering how poorly our original design worked. This is a big improvement. What's going to be hard to test though, if we downgrade all of these into blue assemblers and then decrease our power requirements, like that might also be an option. Things are paused, that's fine. I have them paused right now because I don't want to fill up chests, because if chests fill up, that's kind of problematic. We can only run this for 2. Okay, technically we can run this for 4 hours before any chest is at risk of filling up. So I think we're okay. Where's a section we can copy? What if we just clone... Oh wait, oh, that's why we were having power problems. Never mind. I was gonna say we didn't clone the power, but never mind. Power we have cloned on a 2-wide basis. Let's do 3 more and see how that works. And then connect them to power, of course. And then I don't think it's going to be realistic for us to have any more than this in an actual run. On the other hand, we have like we have 6 hours to build all these. So it's not as unrealistic as it seems. So there is a chance that we will be able to make this many. Because while this looks like a lot, it's really not. This is only 80,000 entities. That's a lie. It's about 100,000 entities, but we have 6 hours to place them. I feel like you can place 100,000 entities in 6 hours, right? What's the game limit? Is it 3 per tick? I think, yeah, is it 3 per tick or 1 per tick? What's the bot limit in this game? So if we're going extreme, Factorio lets you place 10,000 entities per minute. That's 60,000 per hour. Okay, we will probably have to save some entities. But yeah, that's not an unrealistic expectation, which is nice. These are all connected to power. Okay. Okay, this pretty much pegs our PC though. We might be able to get like 1 more set. The nice thing about cloning is it clones it at the production it was already at. I don't know if we cloned it at its backed up value though. I think we did. Considering copper is no longer backed up, I think we cloned it after it's peaked. Let's see if I can find it. I can't really find it. Oh wait, there we go. This is a good example. So with our production, it peaks and then it drops, and the reason this happens is because of our fuel circuit, the one that makes it that some of them don't run. It makes it that basically the belt backs up a lot from the inserters not running, and then you have a burst production for like probably just a couple minutes where it like peaks like 5% higher, where all the inserters are running a little bit faster. And then these end ones stop moving full speed, and then they drop to like 5% speed. So that's that dip you see there. But yeah, a little bit unrealistic because obviously our base will have more to it, but don't think it's unreasonable for me to expect to get 5 million per hour is what I'm seeing here. Maybe if we go crazy, we can get 7 million per hour, but I don't think. I think that would require a lot more optimizations than I know how to do. But yeah, the fear of power being an issue. Glad it was not nearly as an issue as I was worried about. Because when I pasted just a bunch of power plant and you know, things are running at 1600 UPS with 2 gigawatts of power, I was kind of concerned that we wouldn't be able to power our base. But I don't think it's nearly as bad as it sounds. Okay, save game, power outpost test. 7 mil per hour. Okay, this is pretty much the upper limit. So an upper limit of 3 hours to produce all the chips once all of them are built. Probably 5 hours to get our base up and running. So yeah, 10 to 12 hours is seeming more reasonable. How many drills is this? This is 12,000 birder drills. Also, I guess this isn't that realistic because we are wasting like 10% drills here. That's actually... So this is a little bit cheaper than it looks. But yeah, I think we made good progress today. Why are things researching? Do we have radars in here? Are there radars in these? I mean, there should be, right? Oh my gosh, we actually remembered to put radars in these for once. Huh, cool. Because we need to be able to monitor them to see if they're built. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing space exploration, which is going to be much different. That's the very opposite of UPS optimizing for me. For a lot of people, that's how they play space exploration. But for me, I just place things. And until we get to 60 UPS, I don't need to worry about UPS optimizing my space exploration base. So we can probably quadruple our base in SpaceX before we worry about that. But yeah, very happy with that. So these are our outposts, but it does look like we'll only be able to get about... Actually, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 12, 18, 24. Okay, so 24 outposts. Honestly, that's not that much. That sounds like a lot, but I think in real runs they get to like 20. Obviously, they're using electricity, but you know, if they can get to 20 in 2 hours, I can get to 20 in 6, right? I can get to 24 in 6. I think that's very reasonable. But yeah, we can either do 24 of these, and by 24 of these, I mean counting this as one set. So 24 of these or 10 of these is very reasonable. That will depend how I want to connect the patches. Basically, our two options are to have a double patch like this connected to 2 copper patches and 1 iron patch, or one of these connected to 1 iron and 1 copper. But I'll need to like look at... I'll probably need to look at maps, see how close copper patches tend to be. Like right here, this would be perfect. Like this has 2 copper patches just close enough together for it to work. And this would give us enough resources. And then this iron patch. And we have oil close by. So these are all close enough to be one combined outpost. Otherwise, we would have to use this copper, this iron, this copper, this iron. I don't know. That will probably have to do... I'll probably have to test that a few different ways. But yeah, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the ideas, especially with... Let's see, especially with this thing. Definitely appreciated the help with this. Where is it? This thing to help saturate the belt. Very nice. And I love that it doesn't actually use up more space. Like, it... Because I needed this belt here anyway for fuel, so like, it's perfectly compact, and it looks pretty cool. I don't think it completely fixes our problem, because it's only one furnace trying to compensate for like 23 furnaces of everything being slightly off, but it does seem to be better. So if this is enough to get me almost 1% more production, I'm going to take it. Next time we will, let's see, get to batteries and bots, and then train unloading in main. That is our goal for next time, to figure out how we can unload 4 full red belts of resources into this smelting lane. Which now that I'm looking at this, I don't think we have a consistent 4 belts, which means I probably didn't need to do this. Because we are limited to the unloading train of the speed, which means it stops every like 5 seconds. So this probably didn't help. How much does the smelter make? This is 4 red belts. So this is 120 items per second. It is being fueled by, or resources will be delivered by 5 trains that are each 10 long. And the only reason they have to be that long is that's how many we need to get the throughput we need. So we would either need double stations or we would need double trains. Realistically, we're actually going to have both, though. I think we'll still have 2 stations. I'm thinking 2 stations, 2 unloading stations, just so the furnaces fill more evenly. I don't know if that matters, actually. I think if I did 2 loading stations, I need 2 unloading, right? There's no reason to have both. But yeah, they're being fueled by this kind of train. How are you going to power the unloading inserters? That would be this thing right here. This is our train setup. How do the burner inserters keep up? Even yellow ones let some ore through if you side load. Well, they have a 1.8. They move 1.8 items per second because we have stack inserter by this time. So 1.2 to 1.8 per second. The train loading is here. So they're self-feeding for loading. And what they do is they recycle some fuel for the unloading. So we send fuel to the outpost. We send it to the burner drills. We send 50 of it back. Just 50. And that 50 is enough to feed the unloaders. And it is in the first slot, so that way is unloaded. It doesn't get unloaded or can't get unloaded until after all the iron is cleared. And then it just recycles that. So we do waste a little bit of smelter. We do waste a little bit of train throughput because of that, because we're recycling about 100 solid fuel every time, but it's not a huge concern because the alternative would be to have 3 times as many trains. So that's kind of the solution. How do the burner sorters keep up? Even yellow ones let some ore through. If you sideload, you mean in the smelter. Oh, right. This one isn't correct. I see what you mean. Let's copy the correct design. There you go. This is how they keep up. We're sideloading, but we're sideloading after like a full stop. This is actually what we spent most of our time designing today, trying to figure out how we wanted this to work. Yeah, we had 3 different versions of it. We had the regular sideload, like you said, which was problematic. Although I think because we don't get consistent ore, it would have been fine. And then we had another version which looked like... It looked like this right here. Which was pretty much the same idea. Very similar, but this one required us to stagger it, and I didn't want that risk. Because if you don't stagger them, they try to connect and then everything breaks. Can you add one more version? How quickly would it be to show it? I have a few minutes left. But yeah, it's definitely not set in stone. So if there's a different version that works better, that works. Just do 2 inserters on the last furnace before feeding. Double inserters doesn't fix the problem completely, especially not with this length. It helps, but it's not a full fix. Especially since the things are self-feeding. Backing up the belt seemed decent. Yeah, that definitely helps a little bit. I think I think that brings it from like a 1% loss to like 5%. Wait, sorry, not 5%, half a percent. So it makes it a lot smaller. But figured over time, I think this will pay for itself. That definitely would be more compact. That's one thing I don't know how to compare. Like, is being 2 tiles less wide better in the long run? It might be, because that might change things. What else does that change? This would look the same. This would look the same. We'll keep it there. We'll do test with it, see if it's close enough. We could even double up on the last one. No, wait, we can't double up on all of those. Okay. We'll keep that one on top. Actually, we'll keep it in the middle. And this one would look like this. Because it doesn't have to be as wide, right? Yeah. It still has this weird output over here. Okay. Something like this. Those fix everything. They could probably fix it too. Red belts? Oh, yeah. Red belts... Red belts are tricky. Because burner inserters... If you're using burner inserters and they're self-feeding, you can't grab from a red belt. If they're not self-feeding, you can grab from a red belt if it's high saturation. But yeah, that's basically how the rules with burner inserters. If they're not self-feeding, so if it's something like this, top furnace missing. Thank you. I deleted the wrong side. But yeah, if you have something like this, you can grab from a red belt because if they use too much fuel failing to grab from it, it will eventually balance itself out when the belt backs up. And you never run into a brownout risk because they're not self-feeding. If you do this, this is very risky, especially for bots. They will die. So you can use red belts for the outputs, no problem. You might be able to use red belts for the inputs here if you can guarantee a high solid fuel saturation. But that would require circuit logic. You could do like a small red belt here. I don't know if that does anything. I'm not sure. If that does something, we can do a red belt there. We just can't have the inserter grabbing from it. But yeah, it's basically damn you burner inserters times 3 now at this point. But yeah, advantage of this one is this is a normal length, which might help with distributing coal. Because it does make my base like 4 tiles less wide. So we'll leave it there. But yeah, that's it for me today. We made some good progress. Trains are going to be fun. I have no idea if trains are going to work. I mean, they're going to work. I don't know if we'll actually be able to feed 4 red belts consistently unless we double up our loading stations. So I either have to accept that I can do 3.5 red belts consistently or try to figure out how to do like 2 loading stations with a single-sided train, which is with a single track, because I can only do 1 track. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, enough of burner percent today. Burner stuff for today. Space exploration tomorrow. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.